Good evening, friends. I'm here to explain you brief about the lab report, how to write the lab report. So please check here. You are asked to write a report on properties of aggregate. So please be sure that this is not the mixing of the three experiments. It's not the combination of three experiments. It's not like that. It's a report on properties of aggregates. Keep it in mind while you're writing the report. And I request everyone to strictly follow the report format. I want every student to read each and every line while before you write your lab report, or at least once you complete your lab report, check everything is according to your report format, the top, the spacings, and this is the very important one. The report must be in Times New Roman font and it should be in the size 12, and the spacing should be 1.5 inches, and if it is a chapter heading center, try to find out the definition of justification. Justification means the line. If you see this line, it should be the same line. The page numbers and the footer and the table of contents, list of tables, list of figures, it should be there. And the most important thing is, when you write the figure and table numbers, the figure 1, figure 2, example figure 1 and details of the figure 2 and details of the figure, table 1, table 2, details of the tables. The figure title should be centered at bottom and the table should be in the top of the table and it should be centered. So please check while writing all these tables, figures, format, font style, everything. This report format has to be considered while writing your report. Now coming to the content, please keep more concentration while I'm telling you how to write this. Cover page, strictly follow the lab report template uploaded on the Moodle. Please go through the Moodle and find out there are templates, coursework, lab reports template. So there is a template, download the template and put your report in the template. The next one is table of contents and introduction. This is very important. I don't know why students are all misunderstanding this. So please keep concentration here. Minimum 500 words doesn't mean that it should not be exactly 500. It is given only for a reference. Don't depend on this. The first paragraph is general introduction to the topic about properties of materials. It is the properties of fine aggregate and coarse aggregate. In this, properties of fine aggregates and coarse aggregate. So I'll tell you now what to write in the introduction. Please follow strictly. I'll give you 5-6 points. The first one should be, the report is on fine aggregate and coarse aggregate, right? So let us start from, what do you mean? I will ask you some questions, you find out the answers and then you can easily write the report. This is the best way I can help you. So just listen. The first, you start with, what do you mean by aggregates? How aggregates are formed? What are the types of aggregates? Generally the types of aggregates are fine aggregate and coarse aggregate. What do you mean by fine aggregate? What do you mean by coarse aggregate? How can you classify the fine aggregate and coarse aggregate? What are the general properties of fine aggregate? What are the general properties of coarse aggregate? If you include all these in the first paragraph, that is more than sufficient. Okay. While coming to the second paragraph, generally you are calling it as objective. It's not objective exactly, leave that objective word. And in the second paragraph, you can tell us how you find properties of materials, how you determine the properties of the materials. You can write in such a way that the properties of fine aggregate and coarse aggregate have been determined by conducting the lab experiments in the laboratory. The conducted lab experiments to determine these properties are silt test, bulk density and void ratio of sand, and elongation and flakiness index. This is sufficient. So I hope you understand from this. If you want, listen it once again. Just rewind it and listen it once again. What should be written in the introduction? What should be written in the second paragraph? I will show you some example how you can write your report. See, this is some. So this is here. type table of contents, you can write what chapters, what are the contents of this. If you can elaborate this more. Methodology 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, conclusion 3.1, 3.2, 3.3. You can elaborate like this. And list of figures, figure numbers, details of the figures. The heading can be changed to details of the figures, and write down the details of the figures and the page number. Here table numbers and details of the tables and the page numbers. After this, introduction. So here background of the report and objective of the report. Okay. Later on, methodology. You can write methodology like this. Divide methodology as 2.1 silt test. If you have some figures, it looks good. But whenever you insert a figure, make sure that it has to be written like this: figure number and the details of the figures. Then you can write it same: aim of the experiment, apparatus, material. So as I am telling you here, you will all may have similarity because this is all same for everyone. I don't want any similarity in the introduction, very less introduction, procedure. You can write procedure in such a way like this. I told you so many times, do not write I or we. Don't write what you are looking on the screen, and don't write what I have told you before I uploaded a video. Try to use in your own words. Okay, if you write the same, it will get similarity. And after the procedure, you can write observations and calculations. And then you can write results. Okay, this is previous lab report. So these experiments are, you don't have these experiments, so don't say that. And I want to tell you one more thing: we did not do any sieve analysis test. It was previous semester. They have sieve analysis. So we have only 3: silt test, bulk density and void ratio of sand, and elongation and flakiness index. While writing your bulk density of sand, this one procedure, I want calculations. Please try to provide clear calculations. You should provide how you calculated. If you have the tabular form, I want to know how you calculated the bulk density, how you calculated the volume of the mold, how you calculated the percentage voids. Everything you need to mention it clearly. For this experiment, calculations are very important. Okay, don't write any sieve analysis. There is no graph, there is no table. So please don't follow your previous semesters. Now coming to conclusions, you can have this 3.1 experiment 1 conclusion. I want your conclusion should be compared with the British standard and your result. Okay, so I want your results. When you are writing conclusions and conclusion for your experiment 2, bulk density and void ratio of sand, there is 4 questions which is given in the manual. If you just go through the manual, answer those 4 questions, that will be more sufficient for your conclusion. This is elongation and flakiness index. For this also you need to compare your results with the standards. The standards are there in the theory, and you have to compare the results. And moreover, while writing references, please strictly follow Harvard style referencing. The Harvard style referencing sample is already uploaded on the Moodle. Okay, so there should not be any similarity with your conclusions, with your procedure, and with your introduction. And I told you so many times, if you have done with your report, please try to bring it to me, and I will tell you how the report structure is. And please don't send me through WhatsApp, and please don't send me through any email. If you want to know corrections, take a printout before you come, and just come to me so that I can write your mistakes and I can suggest some corrections on the hard copy. I hope this will help you a lot, and I hope everyone will prepare your reports according to the guidelines and instructions. Thank you.